Welcome back to PSGL Round 2 here in Austin, Texas, USA. We will, in fact, be back in the USA for the Miami GP later in the PSGL season, but for today, we're at the legendary Circuit of the Americas, aka COTA. In fact, the track that I won my second F1 Esports World Championship at. So I have fond memories going around this track. He's even wrapped up Q1 and Q2 into one small sequence because I want to keep this video action-packed, and I can assure you this race is going to be amazing. It's going to be going from the rain conditions at the start to dry conditions at the end with many overtakes. For people who haven't seen the result, I'm not going to spoil it for you just yet, so you're going to have to stay tuned and find out what happens for yourself. But now, first run in Q3, worn tyres, so the run isn't that important.
For about 5 seconds because of worn tyres. Let's go!
But you can see, we have a bit of a joke, because we know the first run on worn tyres is not really important. It's not really anything special. It's just a lap time to get a delta to compare to later in the session, for where now we are on our fresh tyres. But we do have a lot of fun on Twitch on the race days as well, building up to the race days. So if you want to be part of the community, in the chat, interact, have a bit of fun, be sure to join the Twitch live streams. I can assure you, you'll have a good time. But now, final run. Ooh. Lightest fuel load of the race. Highest grip conditions.
Whatever
of
happens,
the race.
we send it.
Fresh set of soft tyres. Dry conditions. Opening up DRS on to our final lap. Coming down into turn 1. We're full attack. We're going to be looking to brake at the black marker board on the right-hand side, down to third gear, but we miss our apex just slightly. We run a little bit wide, costing us about half a tenth, 3/4 of a tenth as well, but blasting down through turn 2, now into the high-speed section, flat out. Little lift to not stop at the speed. Down to 6th gear to rotate the car in. Hard on the power. Do not take the saucer curb on the inside, but take as much of the red and white curb as possible. Again, fully over the red and white curb. Now get the car straight over the crest. The car can come a bit light on the traction, so you have to be careful. Track limits there to not invalidate. Now braking just before the 50-meter board. Down to 3rd gear. Look to rotate the car beautifully on the power. So elegantly, because you do not want to spin the tyres here. The tyres are so hot already. And spinning the tyres onto the longest straight on the track will be costing you so much lap time. But now coming down at the end of the DRS straight, look for the 100-meter board, brake at the 100-meter board, down to 3rd gear, take full commitment to the curb on your inside, so you get the car straight on the power on the end of the second sector split. It's been fairly good. Miss that apex slightly, but that's going to give us a beautiful exit to sequence out into 5th gear, down to 3rd gear. You can see we overslow the car just ever so slightly, but that cost us about 3/4 of a tenth, half a tenth again, easily flat out for the right hand. Now into second to last corner, most difficult corner on the track. You see we take that pretty well. You can see avoiding the curb on the inside, but it's the fastest way I found. Now into the final corner, rotate the car around, and we do a 32.000. And I have to say, I am quite happy with that lap time, considering we're not running our full setup and we're not showing our full potential as well. So P8 on the grid, but you see Thomas Ronhard taking a spectacular lap. But now, look at the weather prediction. It's meant to be raining with heavy rain forecast over half of the race. So a lot of people now are starting on intermediate tyres. But if you look at the weather forecast, it doesn't make sense to be starting on the intermediate tyres. It makes sense to be starting on the wets, because it's going to say it's going to be full wet conditions for more of the race.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be so much faster going for wets.
So at this moment, we have to trust the weather report, whereas other people are taking a complete gamble and then trying to go on to intermediates. But there's nothing we can do about that as we cut to the end of formation. That Fabrizio is also on the intermediate tyres. And you can see here me saying it's a guessing game to what tyres to go on. But now, we can't be focused on that. We need to focus on getting the tyres nicely warmed up before the race starts. The rear tyres are ready. The front tyres are ready. Getting purple on the grid box. Lights are on. Lights.
And I have the audio glitch.
5. And lights out, and away we go. As you can see, we do have the audio glitch, what makes the audio completely pixelated and horrible to listen to. So you're going to have to listen to it as well, as much as I did in the full race. So I apologise that. But coming down into turn 1, you see we're going cautious because we have no confidence. We can't hear the car. We don't know what gear we're in fact, because you don't have time to look at the gear indicator. You actually do it by the audio of going down the gears. So we have lost the position to Yoni Tormana and Lucas Blakely up ahead. See, coming through the first sequence.
I seriously can't hear a thing.
And you can imagine how difficult this is for me trying to pick apart the audio on how actually to get the grip. You see massive snap of oversteer.
I can't hear a thing, man. Why is this a glitch?
You can see I'm getting very mad about this whole thing. Almost losing the position to Jake Benham as well. Coming over the crest, Wilson Hughes and Lucas Blakely fighting. Lucas getting shoved out a bit wide, losing a bit of traction. You can see in the spray we can hardly see anything. Jake is attacking us from behind, so we go to a bit defensive, but Jake's pinched on the outside. We can't go too late on the brakes because Lucas up ahead. Lucas goes wide as well, but we kick up a very sweet exit, now opening up the ERS overtake button on the back straight. You can see Jake Benham is half a second behind, so we're fairly safe to him, but we're keeping the battery on to see if we can make an attack on Lucas. Going down the inside, tricking him, pulling to the outside, see if we can make a mistake. Now cutting back in for a good traction. You can see Lucas runs a little bit wide on the curb, has to go defensive into the right-hander. So now we're looking to make a beautiful exit, do a little bit of a switchback. Now get on the power super early, super difficult in the dirty air though. You see pulling to the inside, and Lucas defends that as well. Yoni Tormana goes a bit wide, so Lucas is able to become advantageous from that situation, but Yoni Tormana hangs it down the inside. Full commitment to take his position back. Now through the right hand, you see the car squirming all around, and it's very difficult. Lucas looking up the inside of Yoni. We're backing out that ultimately, and now I'm starting to get used to the audio and relying more on the visual sensory to get on the traction rather than the audio sensory, what is very important out the final corner. Following Lucas quite closely, but now we're going to cut all the way on to lap 3. Lucas did overtake Yoni, but now we're looking to attack Yoni as well down the inside, and he leaves us the space on the inside. I think he did a little lock up there as well, but leaving him space on the exit for always fair. My tactic there was to go down the inside, push Yoni Tormana to get out of the main slipstream of Lucas ahead, and that gives me a better opportunity to press my ERS down the straight and gives me an opportunity to dive down the inside, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Full commitment on the brakes, down the gears. We're only just getting it slowed down. You see,
oh, Yoni, I didn't mean to push you off there, man. I locked up.
You see, we didn't actually push Yoni
I didn't
wide.
really push him off. I was ahead, but see, why am I apologizing? I did nothing wrong.
See me talking to myself in the middle of the race. So these things can happen. I didn't actually really push him off. It was all fair racing, but at the time I thought it was maybe a little bit aggressive. But now, speaking of needing to be aggressive, lap 5. We're right up behind Lucas, coming into the left-hander. You can see Lucas goes a bit defensive, realising that we could have a little bit of a look down the inside. So we prioritised our exit, coming into the high-speed right-hander. I've noticed Lucas was struggling on the traction quite a lot. And you can see we pick up a good rotation, but Lucas picks up so much oversteer, clearly getting trigger happy on the border. We'll pull to the outside. Now we're going to brake early, dummy him, let him go deep into the corner, get on the power super early, pick up the better traction, and now we're up the inside for the final corner of the lap. Here on lap 5, making up positions, now going up the inside of Lucas, leaving space on the exit as Yoni Tormana dives into the pit lane. Clearly going for the intermediate tyres, deploying our ERS on the straight, and now defensive a little bit into turn 1, just to make sure Lucas can't take a cheeky little look down the inside of us. And that has secured our position.
Probably about time for the
Slick
slick tyre now.
tyre?
Our engineer says it's ready for the slick tyre, all things apparently, but you can see Van Erven running wide at the end of the straight, clearly feeling a bit of pressure that we're putting him under. So now we realise he's running wide a bit again, so I think he might be overheating his tyres additionally. But now we're going to look for a cheeky move down the inside, and we catch him unaware. We get the car stopped on the apex. You can see we're well ahead of him by the exit. So confirming that we'll be going to intermediates, but we are going to hang it out for one lap longer because I wanted to see if
10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up.
I wanted to see if I could take the full wet tyres into the dry period. If I could, that would give me a huge advantageous situation compared to everyone else. But lap later, we realised it wasn't going to dry up quick enough. So we're going to the intermediate tyres into the pit lane.
What a weather prediction. Yeah. Raining all race. Yeah, totally.
And I'm absolutely raging.
Totally raining all race game. Totally raining all race.
Oh my god. So I'm raging because it was saying that it was going to be raining the whole race, or more or less all of the race, and it didn't even stay full wet conditions for 8 laps. So now coming out the pit lane, is the cutting on a bit later to the end of lap 8, and we're back behind Van Erven because he did do the undercut to me, so fair play. He did a better strategy, but right now we're hungry. We're down in P12 of this race. Now we're going to be sending it from so far back into the left-hander. You see, getting the move done already before the apex ahead of him So now, onto the back of
Cheers,
Patrick
buddy.
Voss. And he doesn't fight me. He lets me go on the straight. So I think he realised we had very good pace and a very good opportunity to make up more position. So Patrick is an amazing driver. I think could be one of the future talents of F1 Esports as well. So keep in tune with his career. And I think Alpine have got a very good talent on his hand. But you see, right up behind Yoni Thomas, you see trying to fake him, but going down the inside. He does run a little bit wide from that. So clearly looking at his mirrors a bit too much there. You can see faking, filling up his mirrors into the right-hander as well. He does pick up a good apex here, though. So, now on the power, smoothly does. You can see we're going to dive it down the inside of Yoni Tormina into the left-hander. You can see we do leave in space on the exit because he did deserve adequate space.
Man.
And you see, I say that was good racing because I dived down the inside. I left him space. He left me space as well. So completely respectful.
I died, but left room.
Yoni Tormina is one of the legends of sim racing as well. Has been around the industry for a very long time, so maximum respect to Yoni Tormina as well. But coming out the final corner, we need to be making these positions super quickly. Now onto the pit straight, 2.5 tenths behind, deploying battery in the slipstream, and we're going to put out at the last possible second, surprise it down the inside, release the brake pedal, and you can see getting to the apex. Yoni Tormina is wise to that though, does the switchback, is now fully alongside us through the right hander. See, side by side, we're leaving space on the exit again, but now we have got the position confirmed, and now into the sequence. Now we're going to be hunting down Marcel Kiefer up ahead, lap 13, on the back of him. He's being held up by Wilson Hughes and Alvaro Carreton, and we're going to be playing the same trick again. We went purple in the middle sector to show our pace, and now down the inside, but same situation as Yoni Tormina. We have to leave space on the exit to make it fair racing. Again, Marcel left me space on the apex as well, so completely fair racing. Now in the slipstream, deploying battery, and now coming down into the breaker zone. Marcel doesn't defend it, so I think he realises it's better for all of our races if we work and keep our eyes ahead. Alvaro Carreton and Wilson Hughes fighting up ahead. So now we are up into P7. Lots of overtakes so far. Only lap 14, lap 15 into the race now. Wilson Hughes is up ahead. He's wise to our tactic. He goes defensive into turn 1. See, we try to little look around the outside, do a bit of a switchback, but there isn't enough traction, purchase, grip to make that opportunity available just yet. But now you can see we're getting a huge run out of turn 2, showing our confidence in the high-speed corners. Now flying through the sequence of corners here, right up behind him, trying to make an opportunity. You see, squeezing the throttle, trying to get in his mirrors, make him nervous, try and make him overheat his tyres. Now through the right hander, he's in the dirty air of our Carreton as well, so that's going to help us. He goes a bit wide, scrubbing, oversteering, causing temperature to his rear tyres. Through the left hand, he goes defensive, but we pull to the inside, dive down the inside. We're putting full trust in him. He leaves us space on the apex. Again, the same tactic that I did to Yoni earlier in the race. I want to ruin his momentum out of the corner, try and slow him down, get him out of the slipstream of our Carreton. But you can see he has so much more battery than me down the straight because we've been fighting, overtaking so many cars to try and make these overtakes possible. So we're in a bit in a vulnerable position here, but already in the breakers, so we make all of that time back up. Now into the right hand, you see, taking my line to fill up the mirrors. He goes a little bit wide, causing a bit of mid-corner understeer. We pick up a better exit, and now he's going to go defensive. No, he doesn't go defensive. We dive down the inside, the same situation. I thought he was going to go defensive there because of all the situations he's done before. But now we're side by side through the right-hander. Absolutely sending it around the outside, balancing the throttle. Critical for him not to oversteer, for me to hit him. And then that's absolutely beautifully done. You see, park the car on the apex to get the mover completely finished. Now through the final corner, make sure we get a good exit. And you're going to see, I'm rather happy about this overtake. Looking at my reaction.
What an overtake!
So you can see I'm absolutely ecstatic about that one. That's probably my favourite overtake of the race. But now lap 16, we're caught Carreton. We're going to go down the inside. Again, he doesn't fight me. I think he realised it's better for his race as well, that if we just run our own races, do our own paces, and try and give me some clean air. But now looking forward to lap 18. It's drying up, and we have to take a
We're going
risk.
to try something.
We've got 2 seconds to the car behind. 4 seconds to the car in front.
I swear, if I get held, man.
So I'm worried about being held, of course, in the pit stops. That can be vital to my race. But we got a big gap ahead, fairly big gap behind. It's worth chancing these tyres. Going to the medium was a better compound than the softs, in my opinion.
Why am I losing time over that, man? Come on.
But now,
Be silly game.
absolutely critical in the outlap. We've got a wet track, dry tyres, cold tyres as well. And it's going to be on Bambi on ice. It's just Bambi on ice for this first sector. You see, we turn in, and there is very little to no grip He's coming down the hill, lots of wheel spin. We don't even take the right-hander flat out. You see the car twitching, nervous around. These cold tyres are not giving me grip, confidence. Twitch of oversteer. Again, throw it in, trying to scrub that front tyre, bring up temperature. That's a very good tactic in the wet weather. It's to slightly overturn the wheel, and it's going to give you temperature and grip. Although it might cost you a little bit on one turn, it's going to give you better grip, better purchase, better confidence later in the lap to make up more time. You can see now, end of lap 19, start of lap 20, coming out the pit lane. Wilson Hughes went for the overcut on us. So with him on his warm intermediate tyres, he did get a better in-lap than us. But we're going to squeeze down the inside. He doesn't cover it. He's on lapping on track. And you see now flat out for the right-hander. And we have got the position. That's fairly easy. And we're going to pull away from him while he's struggling to get his tyres warmed up. You see, lap 28. What a race it's been. Marcel Kiefer went to the soft tyres as well. He put a fair bit of pressure on us in the remainder of the stint. But
I don't
you
want
can
to
see
looking valley.
from the lows of P12
Dub mid
all
does
the
it
way
again.
back up to P5, and we say Dub Mid does it again. What an amazing race from Otmir as well to come back from Bahrain to fight back the victory here in Kota. So full respect to the champ. But now out of the final corner. What a race! The amount of overtakes in the rain. The amount of overtakes in the rain. So there we have it. PSGL Round 2 is now complete, taking home P5 on the finishing order. You can see we didn't get the strategy calls perfect, but we made up for it with some awesome overtaking in the middle stint on the intermediates especially. And that completely changed our outcome of the race. Without that overtaking, we could have very easily been even outside the points, because we came out the pit lane on the intermediates P12. So we really saved our points and gave ourselves an amazing opportunity to score big in the championship this race. But Wednesday night, 7 PM UK time, will be Austria for round 3. Until then, I'll be live on my Twitch channel, and you have to watch the race completely live, interact with me in chat, interact with the community as well in chat. But you're going to see what happens on track then anyway. Until then, ciao ciao, have an amazing day.